The Lord be with you. Let's stop by Jolene's house after Christmas with my wife Patricia, and it'd been a long day for her, that Christmas day. She worked hard getting all the presents gathered together to put them out and getting everything ready to make sure that things would be just right this past Christmas. Making sure that the kids had all the gifts that they wanted, making sure that things would go smoothly in the morning. Everything that a parent would want for their children on a Christmas morning. Towards the end of the day, Jolene was spent, and she wasn't quite sure if all of that preparation was quite worth it. She was tired. She was feeling a little down. Then she went to put her children to bed, her 3 kids. And unexpectedly, as she was putting her middle child to bed, Violet looked up at her, and this is when Jolene started giving some life to the story that she was telling, as her daughter looked up to her and said, "Mom, thank you so much." Now, Violet's like 3 or so, and thank you so much. Thanks for putting that bed together that you got me for Christmas. Thanks for everything you've gotten me. Jolene said, after that, everything that she had put into that morning, that day, was worth it. She did all that work for those few sentences. Those few words that affirmed her time, affirmed her effort, affirmed her personhood, affirmed her motherhood. She worked all that hard for just those few sentences to be affirmed. Now, true, these words are spoken from a child to a mother, but these same scenarios exist for those of us who respond to words of affirmation. A simple line to say, "What you have done is recognized," is often the greatest word that some people can hear. Now, these don't have to be great feats. It can be something as simple as when you're playing a game together. For some, it might be when you're playing football and, the guy on the other team makes a great play and, you just say, "Hey, dude, that was a great play." Or when you're playing a board game and someone somehow swipes your man or whatever it is that you're playing and takes the boardwalk and a Monopoly thing and, that was really smart that you did that. Or it could be something as simple as seeing someone pick up a piece of trash on the floor and saying, "I greatly appreciate your effort in helping to keep this place clean." These are all words of affirmation that can come up at any time in our lives. For some, it might be being out with a friend and giving a compliment. "Oh, that's a really nice outfit you're wearing today." Or for others, have really enjoyed the movie that you picked out. It was really touching and caused me to think. You see, words of affirmation don't require us to conjure up something that's deep, something that we sit there and think for hours of what to say. Words of affirmation are true statements that affirm the worth of another person. We give them because we want to. We give them because we love the person that we're giving them to. It's amazing, though, what our words can do. We use them for a variety of reasons. We use them to affirm. We use them to direct how to get places or, in life situations. We also use them to tell stories. Unfortunately, though, the words that we use can cause hurt and cause pain. If we turn to Proverbs 18:21, it reads, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Death and life are in the power of the tongue. It's interesting. Those are strong words. Death. when we use words of hurt, words of anger, words of pain, can cause death. When we use words that cause excitement and joy and energy, those bring life. But those other words, those words of hurt, can create a huge burden on other people's lives. And they can shape what a person can and cannot do. For many who grew up in places where they were inundated with negative words, words that destroyed, there needs to come a release and begin a relearning of a new language, of how to communicate with others. Now, one of the first steps to learning this new language of words of affirmation is to look at our past and find all of those times when someone has put us down and seek out ways in which we can forgive them for those wrongdoings. Not necessarily to forgive and then forget, but more so to forgive and release ourselves from those words that hurt so deeply at that time, and for some continue to haunt us to this day. It might have been a teacher's remark that caused us to think that we weren't smart enough. It might have been a friend laughing at us for the way we dressed. It might have been even a parent who, out of anger, told us we weren't good enough. As we look at today's lesson, Jesus has read the scripture there in the synagogue. And he's there in his own town. And people at first are like, dude, that's our buddy Jesus. Remember him from growing up? And so people are thinking, he's doing a great job reading this. And man, he speaks it with such power. But then they realize, I think he's also caused a stir in other places. And so they told him that they liked his reading. They say, Jesus, you made a good play today, but then they want even more. They want Jesus to go even further. They say, could you, deliver us that touchdown like you did over there at Capernaum and show us some of those real miracles. And the crowd, after he says, not really miracle time here, and the crowd starts getting angrier and angrier with Jesus. And the mob begins to grow, and people start to get angry, like at a kid's Little League game, and they start yelling at Jesus, hurling insults, telling him he's no good, telling Jesus that he's nothing. And their anger continues to grow. And the anger begins to become an enemy of those words that were so lovingly spoken earlier in that scene. We say all sorts of things that we don't mean necessarily when we're angry. We say all sorts of things that just come out in our anger.